morning, and welcome to, you might say it's still dark outside a little bit, Winnipeg. Yeah, our sunrise this morning, well, you might say it was colorful, but it wasn't definitive. You couldn't set your watch by it, in other words. In other words, when it broke the horizon, you kind of knew, but not really. Anyway, we did come back to the model table yesterday. And I did have a little problem with one of the ladders. But I did get the rest of the ladders on. In other words, they're all four of them are on right now, although one of them is missing a little part here. This is probably going to go out of focus. Anyway, we'll roll back and see how that happened. Yeah, let's just roll back and see how it is we got to this place right here. Okay, it is about 22 minutes after 7 in the evening, and I have come back to the model table, and I've discovered that, well, actually I discovered it quite a bit earlier, that long ladder that I thought had bent wrong, well, apparently I did not bend it wrong. In other words, I was wrong about being wrong. I had bent it right. And I was just having a real hard time reading this. Anyway, I've gone and bent the other two mirror image to what I've got. And that way I know I've got, it doesn't matter now which side which goes on, it's going to fit. Again, I'm not making any sense. Maybe I should call it a night here. I'll put the macro lens on and we'll get in nice and close here, and I'll try and spin this around so that you can see that we've got, mirror image pieces here. Okay, if I take a look at the second part here of this drawing, and we are actually, this side right here is actually this side right here, and I can sort of see how these are supposed to go here. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to take advantage of the little pegs that are sticking out of the top of the stringers. But it's supposed to go something like this. Now, in order to keep this ladder in place so it doesn't want to fall in, let me move in a little bit here. Okay, that wasn't the smoothest zoom, but better than nothing. Looks like we got a little tiny hair or something on there. Oh, Ron, don't tell me we're going to have this again. Well, I guess I can always edit out all the dead spots, right? Maybe the holder downer is the way to go again. Now what's happening is I'm starting to get this bent out of place here. These railings that come up off the side of the ladder are so fragile. They are so fragile. Now, yeah, I think maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of recompose here and try and get the holder downer to hold this in place right about like that. It almost wants to stay there, right? But it'll probably fall in on me just about the time I go to put the CA glue on it, because I want to put a little drop of CA glue right there. Okay, we have had a disaster. I don't think there's anything I can really do about it. I'm just going to try and glue what's left of the ladder assembly, railing assembly on here. And there is no railing. I've accidentally broke it off. So I'm pulling CA thin on here. And my hope is that I can drop the ladder down on there and it will just sort of stick there. Now that's the plan. Don't know if it's going to work. Guess I wasn't squeezing hard enough, was I? I'd like to bring it down just a little if I can. Maybe I'll use something else. Maybe I'll use the applicator itself. You know what? Oh, I was going to say the ladder's already stuck down there. Okay. I think that's about it. Okay, let's let that cure. That's the best we're going to be able to do, folks. And when the little crew member goes clambering up the ladder, he's got this little tiny thing up here to hold on to. I left that there for him. Now, this is the way the other ladder was supposed to look, with that railing going over the top like that. Now, it's not quite right either, because what is supposed to happen is just move it in just a little bit there. I'm looking straight down on it so I can see it's not quite straight. Okay. Yeah, what was supposed to happen is that one little peg is supposed to hold the ladder out from this part here that we're touching right now. But there's just no way I'm going to be able to do that. I mean, that's beyond my expertise. If I fill these in, when we paint them over with the flat paint, we're not going to see that glinting, and it should be fairly strong in there. Just one more here. There we go. Okay, we'll let that cure. Now here's something that's kind of puzzling. I don't know what these are supposed to go on. It could be when we try to place this entire assembly on the deck, we might have to take and nip some little parts of this ladder off here. Okay, I got the ladders on this side, and I managed to get them on without breaking the railings off. We'll look at them after it's cured. It's still pretty wet. I'm thinking if I was to bump this one here, it might actually move. However, we've got this one to get on, and it goes right there, just like that. I think I'm going to just glue it right to the... maybe I should turn it over so that the bend is the other way. That way the top and the bottom will be touching. See if I can carefully pick that off here now. And I can use the holder downward to hold the middle. Trying to get it past that seam that should have been filed off, right? It should have been filed off, yeah. It was never designed to go on like this. There we go. Well, not quite. Yeah, there we go. Got it now. Okay, now if we just adhere the bottom and the top, and then after that cures, oh, I moved it. Well, maybe I can use this to move it back. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll use my finger here. Oh, come on. Okay, let's let that cure overnight. Let's give it a teensy bit here. Okay, let's let that cure overnight. Well, that looks pretty good. Except it has to go down in the middle, as I mentioned. Now, it's really too bad about this. This is our little railing that we broke off. Otherwise, it went not too bad. I must be losing my strength. What time we got here? 8:30. We'll see you in the morning. Well, it is morning. And our sea igloo is hardened here. Well, it should have. It's had about 12 hours. And if you remember, I was saying I was going to fasten this ladder down against the side of the funnel. But you know, I think I'm just going to leave it up like that, because it sort of adds to the detail. It doesn't look, after it's painted, it won't look so much like a something that was just molded in the plastic. And noticing this one here is a little bit bent in. I'm just going to try and carefully try and bend it out just a little bit here. I don't think I'll break it off. There. I'm looking straight down on it now, and I can see that it's straight. In all likelihood, I'm going to probably have these things all bent out of whack anyway before we're through. I hope not. Now you can probably hear in the background sort of a motor running. Well, that's got to do with what they're doing is they're installing fiber optic cable for one of the internet communication providers here in Winnipeg. I guess they're trying to keep up with the competitors. So yeah, I guess we're going to have to put up with a little bit of racket as they get closer and closer to my house. Right now they're about half a block away. Okay, in this part of 29, we only have one more piece of photo etch to go on. And that's this piece right here. May as well try and turn it over so that the perspective is correct. All right. Now, it shows that it goes on the back of this, so this is going to have to be turned over. Very, very carefully, of course. Alright, it has to go right on the back there. So let me get this just right here. All right. Now we managed to turn it over without bending it. See if we can move in a little bit. Now I realize that these two things, one of which I'm holding on to, has to be bent in. Probably, I'm guessing, a 45-degree angle, but we'll wait on that. I just wanted to see how is it that this is supposed to go here. Whoops, not like that. Now, it looks like it is supposed to go right on the edge of these two platform. I think that it looks like the top of the platform. At least that's what I'm getting out of it, because if you, let me move back a little bit here. If you follow the arrows, it's been my experience that the part that the arrow is drawn from would be right here, would be the part on the photo etch, and then where the point of the arrow actually touches the drawing is where it is supposed to go. So that would mean it would have to go like just under the railing here. So let's just sort of recompose and see if we can't do this. Okay, I know we could clamp this down under Andy's handy dandy photo etch bender, but I'm going to just bend this. I just have to bend these two up. I'm guessing about well, we'll start off at 45 degrees because that seems to be the most logical. And you know what? Steve in the model shed, he bent it on his thumbnail. Now maybe if I bend it on my thumbnail, I will be magically transformed into some sort of a, no, this isn't working, skilled model worker like he is. I'm just going to do it by hand here. We're probably going to have to adjust these anyway. Okay, they're both about the same amount of bent here. This may not be enough. I've got the other end of this thing with an elastic band on it, so I don't accidentally drop it. It'd be nice if this would just sort of stay there all by itself, and I think it probably could if I was to get the those angle brackets just right. Okay, now I can see I'm going to have to bend those just a little bit more. So we'll just, oh, careful, Ron. Careful. I wonder what's wrong with my fingernail here. It just never corrects itself. It always stays like that. You know, I'll trim it down so it doesn't catch on stuff, and it just continually grows like that with a split, like two separate nails. It's kind of ugly, and yet this is the one that I have to keep sticking in your vision. Sorry about that. Don't mean to be grossing the viewers out. Alright, I might have to readjust here. Now once this piece is glued on, if I can get it here, for goodness sakes. Okay, once it's glued on, I am doubly gonna have to be careful with what I'm doing here. All I wanted to do was shove it up a little bit. Okay. Now all I want to do is I want to push this up. I don't want to knock it over. All right. You know what? That is so close. I'm not gonna mess with it. I think what I'll do is I'll fasten it right here and right here, and then we'll bend it so that it's going to be straight. It's a little bit tilted this way, like it has to be. Anyway, then we'll adhere these pieces down. So let's just push stop here for a minute. Okay, this side here, it almost looks like this corner could be bent up about a fraction of a millimeter so that it goes more underneath the lip of this railing. Like this is the top. Oh, by the way, way back a few minutes ago, when we first reviewing this thing when it was on the manual, I was looking at it upside down. It would be possible actually to glue this on wrong. So what I'm going to use here is Bob Smith Industries Instaset, whatever they call it. Okay, just a little bit there. You should have been able to see that. Because if I could see it, I'm sure you could. There. That's all it's going to take. Now that's going to cure. And then we'll reinforce it. So let's just wait a few minutes. Now you'll remember that I was curious as to what I had used this for. I couldn't remember exactly what I'd used it for. And I originally thought that I'd used it for to fasten something in here and then I'd squeeze down on it. And one of the viewers reminded me that he thought I'd used it as a jam chuck. And then I thought, yeah, that's right. The pointy end of the tailstock would have gone in here and spread this out. And then I was trying to think of, well, what would if I wanted to turn, you know, and I was thinking of a plastic pipe or something like that. And then I thought, hey, I'll bet you it was my pepper shaker. Now, I had made a pepper shaker. Careful now, don't bump this. We just glued it on. Okay, I made a pepper shaker about, it must be going on 5 years ago. And I thought that maybe I had needed this to go on the inside for when I sanded turned and sanded this down. Although I kind of wouldn't do something like that because then you'd have the centrifugal force trying to pull it apart when it's spinning on the lathe at about, at least 1,000 RPM. And then not only that, you'd have the force of this spreading it apart. It just wouldn't be a good idea. But as it turns out, the hole that I drilled in here is smaller than this thing. So that's not what it was. Now, how I made this, I did a series on it. I think about a 10-part series. And it's kind of interesting. This is, we were talking about monkey wood. This is monkey wood. Yeah, it's nice, really nice. And then this is acrylic that I mixed up and I dyed it blue, and I think I did a pretty nice job. It's not my first pepper shaker. It's probably about my third or fourth. Anyway, yeah. So you know what? In the description, if I remember, I'll put a link to episode number 1 of how this was made. I think a lot of you viewers will find it interesting. Okay, now this should be cured right now, but I'm going to just leave it a few more minutes. Yesterday, some of you may have noticed that yesterday's episode took a long time to kick into 4K. So I'm going to try and get it uploaded a little bit earlier today. I did it a little bit later yesterday. Today we'll do it a little bit earlier and see if that helps. I'm going to call it quits for today's episode, and we'll just continue on here in tomorrow's rollback, I guess it'll be, as to how this came out and how we managed with it. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we're going to see you tomorrow.